On this episode of today's Shopsmith, we say goodbye to fall and get ready for the holidays by showing you how to create a simple but classic ornament that will look good on any Christmas tree. We'll also enlist the help of two young woodworkers who will surprise their mother with a holiday project that actually starts in the kitchen. You won't want to miss this one. Well, summer is definitely over, and fall is quickly slipping away. It's cold, and even say there's some snow in the air. This is a great time to start thinking about what's right around the corner, everybody's favorite time of the year, Christmas. And what a great time to get out in the workshop and start knocking out some projects that, well, reflect the holiday season. Nowadays, finding Christmas projects that you can build yourself is pretty simple, thanks to the internet, our how-to magazines, YouTube, and the DIY TV shows. Most of these projects aren't that complex, they don't require a lot of materials, they're inexpensive, and well, they're just a lot of fun to do. The classic piece that we'll be doing today is simple, it is quick, and it is inexpensive. What you're going to need is a scrap piece of 2x2, this is fur by the way, a Forstner bit for our drill press, and some assorted grits of sandpaper from a relatively coarse all the way up to the superfines for our finish work. And speaking of finish, this project is good for whatever finish you like. It can be a clear urethane, in this case a marine varnish. You might even want to paint it. One other thing, you're going to need some chisels that have some decent edges on them. If you're not, again, comfortable with lathe turning, you're probably not comfortable with putting an edge on a chisel. I'm going to show you a great way and a great product that allows us to put an edge on our chisels a quick and simple way. The project also is a great teaching project to make you comfortable, to get you familiar with how to use the chisels, and then end up with something that's actually very impressive and perfect for the holiday season. The key to creating a sharp edge on a chisel is maintaining the bevel. The bevel is the angle you'll find on every chisel. Skew's an easy one to see. Shopsmith came up with what's known as a sharpening guide, which does exactly that. By simply duplicating the bevel, by pivoting the guide itself into the disc, and then feeding the chisel into a disc, this one uses 150 grit aluminum oxide, you get a nice edge. The guide will accept any chisel, including the gouge. Again, duplicate the bevel, lock the guide into the table, and then just by pivoting the gouge into the disc, you get a sharp edge. Of course, you've got your parting tool and your round nose too. The guide will accept all of those. So we've now assembled all the pieces we need for the project. We've got edges on our chisels. It's just a matter of getting out there and doing the project. This project starts with a piece that is roughly 6 to 8 inches long. I drilled two 1 1/8 inch holes on two adjacent sides of the piece. After marking the centers on each end, the piece is set up in the lathe using just the drive center and dead center in the tailstock. Now this is where your imagination takes over. The designs you use to form the overall appearance of the finished piece is really endless. Again, if you're new to lathe turning, keep it simple. This piece uses only the gouge to cut the basic profile of the piece, and starting with a relatively coarse sandpaper and working progressively down to finer papers, I'm able to complete the final shape. Once you cut each end away from the blank, this ornament is almost finished. I like to spray these types of projects with a clear high-gloss urethane or marine varnish to make them really sparkle. What do you think? You find out with just a little bit of practice, you can knock these things out in less than 15-20 minutes. And you notice I did a few little things here. You'll also find out after you do a few of these types of projects, you'll have a design that you just seem to always go back to. This is a good example of that. Someone called this one years ago my acorn design because I guess it kind of looks like an acorn. Here at my local Woodcraft, I found these toppers and finials. On my acorn, I've drilled some holes in the bottom, kind of had to modify the actual pieces that they use because these are designed for pen making mandrels and what have you. It seems to work real well with the ornaments. Toppers on, a little glue for the finial. And this one starts to look even better yet. What do you think? If you want to get even fancier, they do have some real fancy hooks, a little more elaborate than the standard hooks. Kind of makes those look a little nicer. And for pennies, really, you can add things like a bow. Over here I had the little candy cane. The idea, though, is to go out and have a good time, build some projects that you enjoy and that you can actually give away for the holidays. Now in a moment we're going to step into the kitchen where this next project begins, and we're going to end up with a really delicious Christmas ornament that I think you're going to want to stay tuned for.
The revolutionary Shopsmith Mark 7 merges old-school ingenuity with 21st century technology. It is a large capacity 10-inch table saw, 12-inch disc sander, lathe, horizontal boring machine, precision 16.5-inch drill press, and both a shaper table and router table. The state-of-the-art PowerPro headstock delivers 1 3/4 horsepower on 120 volts, and a full 2 horsepower on 240 volts and will run on either source. Since the PowerPro uses power adaptive intelligence to maintain its selected speed, under load, it has been proven to save up to 80% of the energy and emissions over conventional motors. The unique compensating technology of the DVR motor ensures operational and speed-changing smoothness. Coupled with the heavier motor, huge bearings on both ends of the shaft, and precision wobble-free pulleys, you'll discover that the PowerPro is whisper quiet. With a variable speed range from 250 revolutions per minute up to 10,000, the PowerPro's intuitive design offers one-touch controlling of speed in as little as 1 revolution per minute increments. It also offers a chart key that will select the proper speed for you. This is determined by the function, type of cutter, even the types of materials you're working with. There's even a lockout function to prevent children or other unauthorized users from operating your machine. So if it's power, precision, ease of use, safety, and functionality you are looking for, the Mark 7, with the PowerPro headstock, just may be the woodworking system for you. Visit Shopsmith at shopsmith.com or email to myoung@shopsmith.com. And remember, your satisfaction is always guaranteed.
Over the years I've built many different types of Christmas decorations, but few can match the beauty and the elegance of this one right here. What's strange, it takes very few pieces, it's simple, easy, and quick to do, and again, we found this on the internet. Our modern Christmas tree design comes from Jamie Castiglio's 2015 collection. If you're not familiar with Jamie, she's an amazing woodworker, an artisan, artist, crafter, and an avid do-it-yourselfer. You can get the plans for the modern Christmas tree and see more of her holiday projects, as well as all of her latest designs and DIY ideas at jamiecastiglio.com. You'll also want to visit her impressive YouTube channel. A modern Christmas tree decoration can't get much simpler. The whole thing consists of 3 pieces of 1x2 pine. This is select pine. I like to use the select because it's free of checks, there's no knots, it's very clear, and it's real straight. On one of the 2 longer pieces, you're going to cut 2 parallel 20-degree angles, one on each end. The second longer piece will have a 50-degree angle at the top and a opposing 20-degree angle at the bottom. Speaking of the bottom, the final piece, those are 2 opposing 20-degree angles. And of course the bottom piece actually completes the shape of the Christmas tree itself. This also uses a 1x4 as a base, and you'll need 4 pieces of 1/4-inch dowel. The angles in this project have to be dead on for everything to come together and fit properly. If you don't have a reliable chop saw for this kind of work, it will be important to have an accurate miter gauge. I'm using a great add-on from Incra, the V120. It allows for absolute perfect angle cuts down to as fine as 1 degree. Perhaps the most important part of this entire project is drilling the holes for the dowels. The holes have to perfectly align to one another on each side of the tree. They're drilled at 20-degree angles, so we took a considerable amount of time marking the exact location for each hole. Then by tilting the table to 20 degrees, it's just a matter of lining up the fine point on that Forstner bit to drill the holes. Well, it looks as though that we were pretty successful in drilling our holes. The tree came together very easily. It's all true, straight, and square. The way we're going to actually attach everything, we're going to run a dowel all the way through here and then trim the edge. On the bottom pieces, we're going to use two 1.5-inch wood screws. These have been countersunk. Those holes will be filled with dowel and everything trimmed, sanded to give it a nice custom finished look. The unique part about this entire project, we've actually taken Jamie's single tree design and we're going to expand it out and create 2 additional trees. The 2 additional trees we're going to have 2 young up-and-coming woodworkers help us with. They're going to assemble, they're going to finish this, and then they're going to decorate them just a little bit differently. And that's where the kitchen comes in. No Christmas is complete without including some of the wonderful varieties of sweets, treats, cookies, and cakes specific to the holidays. Of course, one of the classic treats is gingerbread men and gingerbread cookies and biscuits. So we whipped up a batch of gingerbread dough from a recipe that we found once again on the internet. This recipe looked and sounded like it would be perfect for our project. After rolling the dough out, we cut cookie-sized discs and placed them on our baking sheets. Rather than cutting traditional stars or Christmas trees and gingerbread men, we opted for the round discs to mimic the look of the Christmas tree balls used on our first tree. Into the oven they went, and 8 minutes later our first biscuits were done. In total we did 3 dozen of these things, enough to decorate the 2 additional trees and a few for replacements. After these cool, we'll have the boys drill holes in them for a hook, and then we'll turn them loose with their creativeness and have them decorate the cookies too. Of course, before any cookie decorating can commence, we had to bring our 2 young woodworkers in and get them started on their own Christmas trees. Well, it was kind of fun for this project. We did not tell the boys ahead of time what the project was. And of course, they had not seen the completed Jamie Christmas tree yet either. So the first thing we did, we had them unbundle the prepared pieces. The boys were a little bit too young for pushing lumber through a saw blade, so most of the cuts were all done. There was still a little drilling to be done. We're going to let them do a little drilling on the drill press. But it didn't take very long to figure out what the project was. And before you knew it, they were up and sanding their project and getting ready for finishing and assembling. The boys put glue on all the ends that needed glue. They even helped with the fasteners, the screwdriver. The only thing I really helped them with was the top through dowel. That's kind of messy with the glue. We got that all going. Then the next step was simply prepare the cookies for hanging. So they really enjoyed drilling holes through the cookies. I'd made a little jig that was easy to just slip the cookie into this jig. The location of the hole then was automatic. Well, right after the boys finished drilling the cookies, they went ahead and finished the trees themselves. That meant applying 3 coats of a clear water-based urethane. Overall, they came out looking pretty doggone good, didn't they? The nice thing is, they did most of this themselves. The last part of this entire project is to actually decorate the cookies. I'm looking forward to that. And then hang them, and we got a completed project. I think you're going to want to stay tuned for the big finale.
Nothing can spoil the fun of woodworking more than a messy and dusty shop space. Introducing the next best thing to dust-free woodworking. The Shopsmith DC 6000 Dust Collection System. The DC 6000 has been engineered specifically as an efficient way to eliminate airborne dust and wood shavings as they are being produced, and before they contaminate your shop and the air you breathe. With its powerful 1.5 horsepower motor and its 3 inlet ports, the DC 6000 has more than enough airflow to provide simultaneous dust collection for up to 3 machines. At up to 98% efficiency, the huge 600 cubic feet of airflow per minute produces a minimum of noise. Its heavy-duty 30-gallon see-through dust bags attach and remove easily with a quick screw-on retaining strap. The oversized wheels and casters allow for moving the DC 6000 effortlessly anywhere in your shop space. With a generous 12-foot power cord and its compact size, that uses only 3¼ square feet of floor space, this powerful dust collection system is perfect for any size workshop. If a cleaner, safer, healthier workspace is what you are looking for, the Shopsmith DC 6000 just might be the system for you. Be one of the first to see for yourself how much more enjoyable your woodworking can be in a dust-free environment. Try the new DC 6000 today. And remember, with all Shopsmith innovations, your satisfaction is always guaranteed.
Well, decorating the cookies turned out to be as much fun as I thought it would be, and we all got involved. That means the 2 boys, their father, and myself. And the results? Nothing short of spectacular. There's not a single cookie that's the same. The gingerbread recipe we chose was perfect. It was a good thing, in fact, that we made a few extras. The boys said they tasted great. After attaching hooks to the cookies, each boy hung them in their trees. In fact, they even got a bit fancier, with Karsten adding some nice bows and Tyler some candy canes. When all 3 trees came together, we were able to really see how wonderful this project was. Combined, the 3 trees create an incredible holiday centerpiece. As individual decorations, they can really be used to add a bit of holiday cheer in many different parts of the home. Overall, the time spent in the shop was well worth the effort, and the project a great success. Well, Tyler and Karsten's mother was pretty excited about her modern Christmas tree decorations. You could also tell she was pretty proud of those boys. You know, having the boys come in and put something together for themselves and actually get the feel of building something out of wood, kind of priceless. They'll actually have some memories that'll last with them probably a lifetime. And isn't that really what woodworking is all about? Hopefully, we've inspired a few of you out there to get out there and start building some holiday memories of your own. I'm Michael Young, and I'll see you next time on today's Shopsmith.